We economic hitmen really have been the ones responsible for creating this first truly global empire. And we work many different ways. But perhaps the most common is that we will identify a country that has resources our corporations covet, like oil, and then arrange a huge loan to that country from the World Bank or one of its sister organizations. But the money never actually goes to the country. Instead, it goes to our big corporations to build infrastructure projects in that country, power plants, industrial parks, ports, things that benefit a few rich people in that country, in addition to our corporations, but really don't help the majority of the people at all. However, those people, the whole country is left holding a huge debt, and such a big debt they can't repay it, and that's part of the plan, that they can't repay it. And so at some point, we economic hitmen go back to them and say, listen, you owe us a lot of money, can't pay your debt, so sell your oil real cheap to our oil companies. Allow us to build a military base in your country, or send troops in support of ours to someplace in the world like Iraq, or vote with us on the next UN vote. To have their electric utility company privatized and their water and sewage system privatized and sold to U.S. corporations or other multinational corporations. So there was that whole mushrooming thing, and it's so typical of the way the IMF and the World Bank work. They put a country in debt, and it's such a big debt it can't pay it, and then you offer to refinance that debt and pay even more interest. And you demand this quid pro quo, which you call a conditionality or good governance, which means basically that they've got to sell off their resources, including many of their social services, their utility companies, their school systems sometimes, their penal systems, their insurance systems, to foreign corporations. So it's a double, triple, quadruple whammy. The precedent for economic hitmen really began back in the early 50s when democratically elected Mossadegh, who was elected in Iran, he was considered to be the hope for democracy in the Middle East and around the world. He was Time Magazine's Man of the Year. But one of the things that he'd run on and began to implement was the idea that foreign oil companies needed to pay the Iranian people a lot more for the oil that they were taking out of Iran. The Iranian people should benefit from their own oil. Strange policy. We didn't like that, of course. But we were afraid to do what we normally were doing, which was to send in the military. Instead, we sent in one CIA agent, Kermit Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt's relative. And Kermit went in with a few $1 million and was very, very effective and efficient. And in a short amount of time, he managed to get Mossadegh overthrown and brought in the Shah of Iran to replace him, who always was favorable to oil. And it was extremely effective.
Mobs overflow Tehran. Army officers shout that Mossadegh has surrendered and his regime as virtual dictator of Iran is ended. Pictures of the Shah are paraded through the streets as sentiment reverses. The Shah is welcomed home.
So back here in the United States, in Washington, people looked around and said, wow, that was easy and cheap. So this established a whole new way of manipulating countries, of creating empire. The only problem with Roosevelt was that he was a card-carrying CIA agent, and had he been caught, the ramifications could have been pretty serious. So very quickly at that point, the decision was made to use private consultants to channel the money through the World Bank or the IMF or one of the other such agencies, to bring in people like me who worked for private companies, so that if we got caught, there would be no governmental ramifications. When Arbenz became president of Guatemala, the country was very much under the thumbs of United Fruit Company, the big international corporations. And Arbenz ran on this ticket that says, you know, we want to get the land back to the people. And once he took power, he was implementing policies that would do exactly that, give the land rights back to the people. United Fruit didn't like that very much. And so they hired a public relations firm, launched a huge campaign in the United States to convince the United States people, the citizens of the United States, and the press of the United States, and the Congress of the United States, that Arbenz was a Soviet puppet, and that if we allowed him to stay in power, the Soviets would have a foothold in this hemisphere. And that, at that point in time, was a huge fear on everybody's mind, the Red Terror, the Communist Terror. And so, to make a long story short, Out of this public relations campaign came a commitment on the part of the CIA and the military to take this man out. And in fact, we did. We sent in planes, we sent in soldiers, we sent in jackals, we sent everything in to take him out, and did take him out. And as soon as he was removed from office, the new guy that took over after him basically reinstated everything to the big international corporations, including the United Fruit. Ecuador for many, many years had been ruled by pro-U.S. dictators, often relatively brutal. Then it was decided that they were going to have a truly democratic election. Jaime Roldos ran for office. And his main goal, he said, as president would be to make sure that Ecuador's resources were used to help the people. And he won, overwhelming, by more votes than anybody had ever won anything in Ecuador. And he began to implement these policies to make sure that the profits from oil went to help the people. Well, we didn't like that in the United States. I was sent down as one of several economic hitmen to change Roldos, to corrupt him, to bring him around, to let him know, okay, you can get very rich, you and your family, if you play our game, but if you continue to try to keep these policies you've promised, you're going to go. He wouldn't listen. He was assassinated. As soon as the plane crashed, the whole area was cordoned off. The only people allowed in were U.S. military from a nearby base and some of the Ecuadorian military. When an investigation was launched, two of the key witnesses died in car accidents before they had a chance to testify. A lot of very, very strange things that went on around the assassination of Jaime Roldos. I, like most people who've really looked at this case, have absolutely no doubt that it was an assassination. And of course, in my position as an economic hitman, I was always expecting something to happen to Jaime, whether it be a coup or assassination. I wasn't sure, but that he would be taken down because he was not being corrupted. He would not allow himself to be corrupted the way we wanted to corrupt him. Omar Torrijos, president of Panama, was, one of my favorite people. I really, really liked him. He was very charismatic. He was a guy who really wanted to help his country. And when I tried to bribe him or corrupt him, he said, look, John, he called me Juanito. He said, look, Juanito, I don't need the money. What I really need is for my country to be treated fairly. I need for the United States to repay the debts that you owe my people for all the destruction you've done here. I need to be in a position where I can help other Latin American countries win their independence and be free of this terrible presence from the north that you people are exploiting us so badly. I need to have the Panama Canal back in the hands of the Panamanian people. That's what I want. And so, leave me alone. Don't try to bribe me. It was 1981, and in May, Jaime Roldos was assassinated. And Omar was very aware of this. Torrijos got his family together and he said, I'm probably next, but it's okay because I've done what I came here to do. I've renegotiated the canal. The canal will now be in our hands. He just finished negotiating the treaty with Jimmy Carter. In June of that same year, just a couple of months later, he also went down in an airplane crash, which there's no question was executed by CIA-sponsored jackals. Tremendous amount of evidence that one of Torrijos' security guards handed him at the last moment as he was getting on the plane a tape recorder, a small tape recorder that contained a bomb. It is interesting to me how this system has continued pretty much the same way for years and years and years, except the economic hitmen have got better and better and better. Then we come up with, very recently, what happened in Venezuela. In 1998, Hugo Chavez gets elected president, following a long line of presidents who had been very corrupt and basically destroyed the economy of the country. And Chavez was elected amidst all that. Chavez stood up to the United States, and he's done it primarily demanding that Venezuelan oil be used to help the Venezuelan people. Well, we didn't like that in the United States. So in 2002, a coup was staged, which there's no question in my mind, and most other people's minds, that the CIA was behind that coup. The way that that coup was fomented was very reflective of what Kermit Roosevelt had done in Iran, of paying people to go out into the streets, to riot, to protest, to say this Chavez is very unpopular. You know, if you can get a few thousand people to do that, television can make it look like it's the whole country, and things start to mushroom. Except in the case of Chavez, he was smart enough, and the people were so strongly behind him that they overcame it, which was a phenomenal moment in the history of Latin America. Iraq actually is a perfect example of...
Greetings to you out there and here and everywhere. I'm your host, Majesty, and this is another session of Majesty's music lesson. Hope you're feeling airy and everything is evoluting in a positive manner. Well, here we are, another Sunday. For those who did not see the program 2 weeks ago, when I played the full 25 minutes of that section of the DVD that you were just looking at, that was the beginning. I played that little 10, 11 minutes, you know, so you can get a peep of it. And I'll try to do at least 10 minutes out of it in the next coming weeks, the next 10 minutes, because the whole 25, 26, 27 minutes of that DVD is very, very important. And it's very important to all third world countries. It's not a DVD whereby there's an African like myself that is speaking against America and the Europeans and what they do. It's a European who was involved, an eyewitness, a participant, who maybe did not know, which happens to a few of them, their conscience return after they see what America is really about. And they now come to confirm everything that we knew since the days of slavery, our ancestors knew, and every generation that comes knows as they live. But yet we always have some who bury their heads in the sand like the ostrich when they're frightened. But he's not the only one. I played before several of them, and I will continue to play at least little sections of them from different Europeans, all of them being CIA operatives or who work with the CIA, who now decide to reveal what they were involved in for the world to know that America is not, and the words I speak here is the same words they're speaking, America is not a democracy. And in reality, they have gotten rich and continue to be the richest in the world from clandestine operations that they do. Not from capitalism, which is what they have fooled many intellectuals with, who tell themselves because they get some crumbs, you know, capitalism works. Capitalism never worked. Capitalism was built on imperialism. And they will also tell you that America has maintained its imperial state right up to the second. Only thing, mass media now is available, so they propagandize the whole of America, and they propagandize basically the rest of the world, and propagandize the presidents who they interact with, you know, through loans and United Nations, these kinds of things. And so this brings me to our oil situation. Because as you see, Venezuela has oil, but Venezuela is not prospering because the oil price has been brought so low. And then there's another section of this same DVD, which is the next 10 minutes. He's going to tell you about the structural adjustment that they do to countries when they lend them these big loans. And he calls out devaluation of currency, which makes the commodities of that country easily accessible and cheap to foreign corporations, because your currency is devalued, so we don't have to pay you much in our currency. How America has set up the currency market, are the bankers. So it's all one big scam. And if it's one person should know, it is an African, because his future is dim under these conditions. And I am saying this now in relation to what we have been promised in Guyana, which is a good life. These Europeans showing you there is no good life, not from your resources, definitely not. Because if America does not get your resources, then they will destroy you or attempt to destroy you, destabilize you same way. Even if they still don't get the resources, they will destroy you until they get it. They will marginalize you, so you still will not prosper. This is the program they've been on all around the world. But I'm here to see that we African people have to unite against this force, which we were doing to gain independence, to become a republic, and to fight against apartheid in South Africa and free the other African countries like Angola, Mozambique, South Africa, etc. Now, we have become girl guides. We are not men no more. We are afraid to die. Now, our ancestors sacrificed for us to be here in a certain level of strength. Now, we gave up the fight because we focus on material wealth. Crumbs compared to what Europeans have. I don't know why people at the bottom fight up with wealth. Even people in Guyana, why do they fight up with wealth? You don't have no wealth with no Europeans. Now, Emancipation Day is around the corner. It was around the corner last year and the year before and the year before. But do Africans learn anything from emancipation? No. It is a celebration. It's not a KSI. It's not a knowledge sharing institute, which is what everything that we deal with is supposed to be, because Africans have suffered the worst under the hegemony of the Western Roman Empire. And right now they are coming to repeat the situation. I am sharp, you know. I don't miss anything. That's what being sharp is. Sharp is getting your eyes and your ears open and your antennas up. Now, when young George Bush came to power, did you know he launched, which was the biggest aircraft carrier at that time? Do you know what was the name? They named it the Ronald Reagan, the biggest aircraft carrier in the world. Carried 6,000 soldiers, nuclear missiles, and fighter bombers, and attack helicopters. Now, people could say all what they want about Trump. And what's going on in his administration. But do you know that this week gone, Mr. Trump launched another aircraft carrier? I don't know what the size of this one, if it's the same size like the last one, bigger or a little smaller, but he launched an aircraft carrier a couple days ago, a week ago. They have been preparing all the time for the war that they're waging all the time. So they're waging war all the time and preparing all the time. This is how they get rich. You will hear on the next time when I play the next piece of the tape, the European saying that's speaking, there is no democracy. There is no America. What there is the corporations, which whose gross product is bigger than many countries, and you're calling out countries. I don't even think about Guyana. And the last one he called was Exxon. When the PPP announced that Exxon, I right away I said, y'all know who y'all dealing with? Most people think it's a joke. Most people think all these things never happen. When I played this other brethren, the CIA station, I'm forgetting his name. I'll play him again. When he called out the list of countries that America had covert action in, Angola was called. We were supporting Angola, Guyana and Cuba. We fought against South Africa. And they were defeated. And Ronald Reagan sponsored rebels, Savimbi. And that battle continued where he attacking his own black people, and this is what they do, which is what is being told to you about the Chavez state. Don't let me talk about Venezuela. We're in the same boat like Venezuela. The poor black people, the poor Amerindian people over there, they're in the same boat. Remember when they were joining with the Venezuelan elites to attack us? Remember when the Cuban was blown up? I don't understand how we these people become friends, chummy friends. You're fooling yourself. These people do not respect you. These people they don't respect our government. These people don't respect Mr. Granger. They pretend I talk the story straight. Because I come up understanding what is straight from black power, from the apartheid. I understand what's straight. And when you're dealing with that, straight is straight. This is not moral church reasoning. This is straight is straight. This is reality. One and all got face reality. Reality is happening to us. We have our own stories here. From the 1763 rebellion and the 1823 rebellion. When heads were all along the East Coast on poles. We're dealing with the devil. Come to kill, maim, and destroy. And rob. How you think we're poor? No one can give us a good life if we can get robbed again. How you think we need a good life? If we had good life, now the Almighty testing everybody, you know. Especially the men. And I'm saying in 2017, as a man who went to Queen's College and understand, even though I wasn't in it, Queen's College cadets, and I was almost, or they were once trying to draft me because I had GC to go and do officers course when they needed people in the army. But I was a soccer player and I was deep in it, so. It is a principle. Life is a military order. Does the country have order? That's when your military order break down. Because a city is an order. That's why a city got gates, it got borders, it got guards. Soldiers are guards of this society. So, order is something has to be established by a proper army. And this is what the Europeans broke down, our army. And when you defeat someone's army, you can take them as slaves. And we are not trying to build back the army. As a matter of fact, we had the army going before, when we were fighting to get rid of apartheid. And then we drop arms. Now we want to live like Europeans. As a matter of fact, it's this probably who promise people all kinds of things. They come with the IMF and the World Bank and the loans and the this and that, and people get carried away with vanity. I could never get carried away with vanity, because I ain't got a piece I could eat. I will die if you lock me up some way. If you lock me up in jail with no food, but you got car and telephone and cell phone and camera and I will die. I got food. The most important thing. And if you want to defeat an army, the easiest way they could get how many arms they want. You lock off their food. That's why the supply line to armies, it is be bombed, it is trying to disrupt it, so they will run out of food. Empty crocus bar can't stand up. That's a Rastafari chant from beginning. That's why the first order of Rasta, when I came up into Rasta in the 70s, was food. The first order of life in the morning. After you go to wash, is to get water, and calculate what sips you're going to be dealing with. And then you deal with what you got to do. So, the Black Order was established long before these people come in 2017. So I don't know how people today think they know what's going on. The Black Nation is present there for that to know what's going on a long time. And it's winning the 100, it's winning the 200, male and female. You got endless footballers playing in all the top leagues. What people talking about? We were feeling ourselves before Europeans. And that's why I come to Linden Falls. The first thing he said was, feed, clothe, house. Now, on this program, several times I said, 400 million black man got like fire when they attack us again. I a conscious force, you know. I know I have to secure my life. Security is the first order of life. Physical security and food security. If you don't have those two things, your society is doomed. Now, we need to get serious because we jokey. And I blame Mr. Hyde for becoming a joker general. You can't run things, you can't face Europeans, leave it to someone else. Who can run it, come out the way. Else you will be selling out your people into destruction and slavery. You want to fraternize with Europeans? Well, go and live over there. I have no problem with who want to fraternize. They don't fraternize with us. They just be humoring y'all and using y'all. That's it. And teaching you to be like them. Parasites. Not to help your people, to be a parasite on your people. That's why Marley sing it. You hear the tune? Man to man is so unjust. Children, you don't know who to trust. Your worst enemy could be your best friend. And your best friend, your worst enemy. Some will eat and drink with you. Then behind them soup on you. Only your friend know your secret. So only he could reveal it. And who the cap fits, yeah. So this is the reality of life. Man to man is so unjust. Children, you don't know who to trust. Why are we bringing up our children non-military? Put it that way. Don't worry, people who start with military and you militarize and all. Only a fool. Just like them businessmen, they got enough money. They ain't even got a guard, and the bandit come and take them and their family. God don't want to keep all the material. Money come to spend. That's how you can get comfort. You can't eat money. Lynn and Forbes, you know, though. That's how you spend money to get the things that we get, free education and everything else. Because if you don't have a strong society, your society will be doomed. I hear in this program say 400 million black men are like fire. I was telling you that all the time. We are training our young people to light fire. Until our scientists get nuclear, they more want to work for the white man. And you hear the man say it in the tape. They're not attacking Russia. They're not attacking England. They're not attacking France. We don't fight gory wars against in Europe. It's strictly a third world war against the third world. Most of these countries are not capable of attacking America. We're not attacking Russia. That's what he's saying. He said, and especially not since they got the nuclear bomb in 1948 or 49 or whenever they get out, 52 or somewhere about it. Because they get it just after America. America had it since 45. Because they captured probably the most German scientists. So, we have to train our people in military order and discipline. When I went to Queen's College, it was a discipline school. All discipline is military. It is orders and rules. And that's why military rules the world. The most united force, the strongest force on the earth is an army. Because it's united. Now, we got emancipation coming. Most black people are emancipated from mental slavery. The white man teach them to be civilians. But I'm telling you, every citizen is a soldier. Now, read the Constitution. Article 33. Article 32, first of all. 31. It is the duty of the state to protect the just rights and interests of citizens. Well, I say resident abroad. But I guess they dealt with the other citizens before. 32. It is the joint duty of the state, the society, and every citizen to combat and prevent crime and other violations of the law, and to take care of and protect public property. It is the duty of every citizen to defend the state. So, when I come and see, I don't talk stupidness no time at all, you know. But most people don't even know about the Constitution. Even people in public service, people in the police force, people in the army, and I'm not saying read it. But they know they got to defend the country. As a soldier. That's their job. So I guess aspects of it explain to them. But how many people is read the Constitution for themselves? Because that's not the only thing that's there. The rights of your fellow citizens is there. If many police read the Constitution, they would know the rights of other citizens that they're violating the Constitution. So the Constitution is actually like a joke. That's why the white man could come and treat you like a joke. Because you yourself ain't holding an order. And that's why some people just can't tell me. They don't know why you're holding an order. So when they come with their foolishness, and I say what I gotta say, just say what I gotta say. And they be tripping. What life got an order? And this is why African people have no unity. They're moving like crab in a barrel. The Willie Lynch got them. Willie Lynch is an Englishman who put Africans against each other with a system that he had, putting the short against the tall, the dark against the lighter, the male against the female, the one in the bigger plantation, the smaller plantation, everything. And that's how we control them, you know. And there's a system of cruelty there too, to program them to serve the master. Black people stop serving wealth and say, but you're serving the Almighty. Lucifer, middle name is prophet. His first name is Lucifer, his second name is prophet, and his third name is Satan. There's Lucifer and Satan. They don't tell you about prophet. Prophet is the middle name. Why do you think the white man is do what he's do? For profit. Why do you think thieves and robbers do what they do for profit? Why do you think businessmen and scam people and whoever do what they do? It's a profit. Prophet is not a good man. A man should get paid, can't he work? But prophet is something else. It's extra. That's why even in a system of profit which a white man create, when you after you use profit, you're supposed to return profit to the society. Remember, you get profit for use, you know. You get the profit for use to help build yourself. That's why you're supposed to contribute it. It's in the Islamic laws. Yeah. Prophet is not a good man. That's why Burnham brought in these banks like the Agri Bank, the Co-op Bank, the so that the state will enhance the people with little profit when you lend them loans, so they're able to prosper. Because we are coming from behind. Now imagine people want us to catch up with the white man when we were kept back for 500 years. You look at the races. The race got started over, that's why 400 million black men got to light the place of fire if they attack we again. Because they didn't even allowing us to catch up. Look at the races. Look at the 100. As you get a little jump, so just call back the race. This race, a life got called back. Your Lord probably then got destroy you. That's the case. Because what going on now is build Lucifer business. And people pretending that, yeah, the blessings of God, they're around the corner. No. Let me read a little piece here quick from Ecclesiastes. Because when I tell people about, you got to train the youth them to light fire, that's the weapon until we get nuclear. Ecclesiastes 3 tell you exactly what I tell people all the time. To everything, there's a season and a time. To every purpose under heaven, a time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up that which is planted, a time to kill, a time to heal, a time to kill, a time to heal. Time to break down, a time to build up, a time to weep, a time to laugh, time. Don't ever go into anything else. This time runs so fast. Well, if most of you know I'm doing 3/4 hour, I have to get back to an hour. You know, but my bill had gone up high, so I decided to do 3/4 to bring my bill down. That's why the program being finished faster. But a leader has to be a teacher. Because you got to be teaching something. You got to got some program that you're programming the people on, you know. So you got to say who you're teaching, you know. And you got to got guts and courage. Else, the white man's parasitic system is what will be on the people. So, I can't say happy emancipation. There is no happy until African people unite. And when they unite, then you know they emancipated from mental slavery. Because enough of them tripping still. You know. And they fooling themselves of their capabilities in defeating the white man. No individual can defeat Lucifer. Only unity. So, it's time we praise the black God. And thanks to Dr. Yates for that program that he's doing, we're showing this does not belong in God's church. This is not Jesus. I just gotta laugh every time I hear it, because it is so true. Finally, someone bold like I to say that. I have to speak on the policy framework for the citizens because 2 years, 2 months have gone, and I have given the administration 2 years to settle up. So I gotta say, the 23rd of July celebration is going on up at Wizrock. It will be sealed tomorrow night, Monday, right? That will be the final night. It became an 11 light. First was scheduled to be 9, and it finished tomorrow night instead of tonight. So, the 125th anniversary of His Imperial Majesty, Earth anniversary, right? So, those who can make the seal up, try to do, but unity is still missing from African people. Thanks to Safe TV, thanks to Brother Dominique. See you in the next 2 weeks. And take care. Unity is the only policy and the accepted goal.